Thank you, Minister. First of all, a brief comment, and this is around the issue of those returning from maternity leave and their exclusion from the temporary wage subsidy scheme. You have said that you will try to find a solution, and I welcome that. Just two comments about it. First of all, I think it needs to be done very quickly, as a lot of women find themselves in that position right now. And secondly, you indicated that you might not be in favour of extending maternity leave. And I know it's a complicated issue, but I would ask that in conjunction with the relevant minister and employers that you might look to show some flexibility here, because there are many issues that make it difficult, none more so than, let's say, the childcare issue. So I would appreciate that. I have two questions. I'll give you the first one briefly. I have been contacted by a number of people who, unfortunately, have to close their businesses. The requirements of social distancing, etc., they know because their premises are so small, they cannot continue in business. So they are winding down. Yet there are energy companies, telephone companies who want to charge them extortionate rates to cancel their internet contracts, telephone contracts early. I know of two small business owners, over €400 is being asked from an internet provider just to cancel their contract early, and €99 per telephone. So I'm just wondering, are there any protections to stop this extortionate penalty clauses from being imposed on people who have to close their businesses they were told to in the first place, and now they know they can't reopen?
Thank you, Deputy Harkin. Hear what you said there on the maternity leave issue, and in particular the second point that you made to me. Just to inform you, the reason why I was careful not to commit to review of maternity leave has been a way of dealing with the issue that you're referring to. It's because I'm aware of the first point that you're making. This is an urgent issue, and I know that we will. It's more likely that we'll find a resolution of it within the tax code, as opposed to having to look at other things. And as I said, I'm not saying there is one there at the moment that we've established, but I am examining that now. In relation to the point that you've made there regarding utilities and providers, Minister Richard Bruton has put in place an agreement with utilities in relation to how we are asking companies and to be citizens to be treated across that period. And I have, over the last day, heard the issue that you've referred to being raised. You're the second person that's now raised that with me. And I will talk to Minister Bruton about that matter, because amidst all of the strain that people are now feeling economically, those who are feeling it the most are small business owners that a little while ago had viable business models and now find out that they don't. And my message to them and my message to our entire economy is that we want to work with all of you to recreate and rebuild an economy that only a few weeks ago was doing so well and so successful. So if you give me a specific example of the issue, I will follow up on that myself.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Minister, and I know that my constituent will as well. The other question relates to another vulnerable group. I know of people whose property has been sold to vulture funds. You know the story yourself. And right now, public auctions are being planned to sell some of those distressed properties. For example, there is one advertised for this day week, and then another one for early in June. Now, we're just creeping into phase one of lifting the restrictions that are in place. So I suppose what I want to ask is, are there any protections there right now? But equally, is it possible that public auctions could take place at this point in time, given the phase we're at as far as the COVID restrictions are concerned?
Yeah, so there is a lot of protection that is in place that has played a role in over 80,000 mortgages being restructured, and that has played a role in over 80% of those who were in those restructured mortgages having the terms of that new loan met. And For those whose loan has been sold, the protection they have now is unaffected. All that being said, if we're at the point of that property being sold, then clearly the procedures and rules that are in place have not yielded a resolution of the issue in a way that works for that person. Which leads on to your question there regarding whether public auctions are allowed at the moment. And to be frank with you, Deputy, I don't know the answer to that question, but I know people who do, and I'll get it for you.
Thank you very much, Minister. That concludes our discussion.